slogan, All Lives Matter. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to live in a country where all lives matter? Because if we really lived in a country where all lives matter, we wouldn't be out here today.
Downhill ain't easy to climb. Hey, Hoss.
Hey, Lou. Pretty good.
Cute little camera. Tim Holland went to Virginia about 6, 7 years ago. Doing power supplies on the ground, digging. He had a black shirt on.
Uh-oh.
He was out there, man.
You're on YouTube.
Look out, man. Take your glasses off, show him the hate in your eyes.
Hey there, YouTube. Started in 1975, back here. And here in Franklin, North Carolina. And there is a peace march for the Black Lives Matter movement. And I'm going to document some of that. Stay tuned.
So the only thing to attack capitalism, influence socialism, and solidarity between all working classes. Cosmic plan go hand in hand, all parties.
Hello, everybody. My name's Sarah. I'm from Atlanta. I moved up here about 2 years ago. Atlanta often. As we all know, Atlanta is filled with POC, and we love it for that reason. Okay? On my way to Atlanta, we got on the MARTA to go to Kramer. A guy on the on the train, holds his hands up as we're all getting off. And he says, I just started a job. I'm not trying to rob anybody. I just need some help. Please get on the train. My job is back home. Because of the area that we live in, these are situations we don't come across a lot. It's just mostly people in opinion. Today there are a lot of children here, and they are watching. Children in their cars with people who don't agree with us are watching. Smile at them. Let them know that the way they live is not okay. Go run. Little girl and her parents were walking ahead of my sister and I. The little girl asked her mom, why don't we help? Her mom said, we don't talk to people like that. We don't talk to people like that. The first thing he did was hold his hands up and say, he wasn't going to rob any of us. He just needed help. So if you take anything away from this, no matter how quiet it was in the back, no matter how small our group is, no matter how large and destructive it can be when it's angry. The point of this is for people to have a chance to say, I was raised in a place that wasn't racist, that wasn't for depleting the opportunities for people to be born equally, to be heard, to be respected. And I want to thank you all for coming, for listening, and for supporting. Thank you.
Which I haven't used it since March 13th. My name is John Bill. I'm a Macon County native. I've taught high school here for 25 years, teach American history and philosophy. I want to thank, I'm not sure who all put this march together today, but I want to thank the organizers. As I know, say again, it took a whole community, I was told. All right, so no individual. Okay? So I'm going to give you a 3-part history lesson and maybe preach a little bit. So part 1 of the history lesson. I've seen on social media all week, we don't need this movement here, we don't need this march here, because Macon County and Franklin don't have any problems with racism. I've seen that all week. I've seen that for 2 weeks. I've heard it all my life. So history lesson part 1. Here's the name for you. Caleb Ridley. Caleb Ridley is born and raised on Cowee Mountain. He became one of the most prominent ministers in this country. Preached all throughout the Southeast. He's a good guy. Well educated at Mercer. But some darkness took a hold of Caleb Ridley's heart at some point in his life. I was doing research on the man. He comes back to Franklin late in his life, and he becomes the editor of the Franklin Press. And he's only editor of the Franklin Press for a couple of months, and all of a sudden he disappears. And I'm wondering, okay, why is that? How come he's editor and all of a sudden he disappears? And you scroll through the microfilm, and 3 or 4 months later, well, there's the front page obit. Caleb Ridley dead. And I'm reading his obituary. All of his life's accomplishments, which are numerous. And then the last line in the obituary. Imperial chaplain, Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. In 1925, the #1 minister of the Ku Klux Klan of the United States was Caleb Ridley, a man from Franklin. That's history lesson number 1. History lesson number 2. 1898, an African-American man by the name of Mitchell Mosley comes into Macon County, comes into Franklin. He's lost. Does not know where he is. He goes into the Mundy House, which is on the other side of the Historical Society, what's now Integra Bank. He stumbles inside. He's looking for directions. The 2 white women who were living in there, startled by Mitchell Mosley, and they filed charges for assault. He was taken to this jail over here. He was incarcerated. And if you know how ritualized lynching works, this is how it works. A black man is incarcerated, and then a notice appears in the local paper, and it says, in his inspection he will be lynched. Of course, it's not really saying his inspection he's going to be lynched. It's a notification that a human being is going to be executed by an extra-legal mob. A mob descended upon that jail. Law enforcement officers were not present. They took the keys conveniently left on the desk. They took Mitchell Mosley down to the bridge next to the playground, and they hung him off that bridge. And that not being enough to satisfy their anger, not being enough to satisfy their bloodlust, they took his body and they boiled the flesh off his body. And they took the skeleton and it hung in a prominent Franklin area physician's office until the 1950s. You want to tell me Franklin doesn't have a historical issue with racism? Well, let's get to the current moment, which is tied to, say, 1909 and tied to the 1860s. It's that monument that's across the street. So let's talk about Macon County during the Civil War and the months leading right up to it. A prominent Franklin man by the name of David Seiler decided he wanted to run for state house. He's a descendant of the Seiler family who settled this town. And like many white men who were running for office in the South, there was a surefire path to victory. Everybody who's standing here today, regardless of which side of this issue you're on, you understand this dog whistle. It's clear. It's not a dog whistle anymore. It's a foghorn. It's a foghorn in 2020. It was a foghorn in 1858 when David Seiler ran for the state house. You got to elect good slaveholding men like David Seiler who know how to keep Negroes in their place, because let me tell you what's going to happen, says David Seiler, and white men who ran for office across the South. If you don't elect people like me, the slaves will rise up and they'll slit your throat in the middle of the night. You got to have law and order. You got to elect me. That was the con. That's the con of the planning class. That's the con that the planning class of the South pointed off on the white shelter government. That's the con that the white ruling class, the planning class, foisted off on the yeoman farmers. And they bought into that. Enough people bought into that. And so when Fort Sumter happened, and as Lincoln put it, the war came, those poor whites who really had no economic interest whatsoever in maintaining the slaveocracy in the South got conned into that protest. They got conned into that war. They got conned into taking up arms against their brothers in the North. And that's all their argument is. All their argument is a horn blowing, because they don't have any ideas and they don't have any words. All they have rage. They don't even really know where that rage comes from. Just like the men who fought for the Confederacy really didn't know where that rage came from, because it was a con. And a lot of those good men died. So I understand wanting to remember your fallen ancestor, but honoring your fallen ancestor was a symbol to hate, was a symbol to division, was a symbol to ongoing structural racism. That doesn't do anybody good. I see a lot of people holding up the sign. I see people holding up the sign and chanting the slogan, "All lives matter." Well, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to live in a country where all lives matter? Because if we really lived in a country where all lives matter, we wouldn't be out here today. If all lives mattered, we would not be sitting here drinking lattes and occupying ourselves with whatever nonsense we occupy ourselves with, while our government is locking up little brown children on our border. All lives matter if Medicaid was not positioned by the reactionary forces in this country, by the reactionary forces in this state. If Medicaid was not positioned as some sort of hand-out to brown people, guess what? We'd have hundreds of thousands of more jobs in this state. We would have better health care here in Macon County. And that would be better health care for black people, for Hispanic people, and for good old Scotch-Irish people. If we lift up, last thing to say here, if we will lift up our African-American brothers and sisters, if we will lift up all people of color in this country, then guess who else that we're lifting up? We're lifting up every single life. So if you really believe that all lives matter, then you lift up your brothers and sisters of color. Okay? You lift up.
Hey there, YouTube. Just came back from the opening parts of the Black Lives Matters Peace March, and I guess it's kind of a protest too. They have a little area by the gazebo for their talks and all of that, and I think it was interesting to see. I say that because I'm in a weird place with a lot of things, because I have people with all spectrums of views around me, and I'm not trying to get real political, but you know, I gotta say, if people got something to say, they need to be allowed to say it, and it's good that they're able to do this, I think. So that's what I have to say. And if you like this kind of content, subscribe to my channel, click like, leave a comment. On this video, I'd really like for the comments to be very clean, and you know, let's not get in heated arguments if there's any comments coming in. You know, we don't need that. I mean, this kind of, especially with the topic of this, is it's time for people to really put crap aside and just move forward, you know, and that's that. Again, thanks for watching. Catch y'all on the next video.